All right, welcome to week 8 of the Street Parking Vault. And this week's vault workout is sponsored by our amazing sponsor, GoRuck. Now, before we get into this week's shout outs, I just wanted to take a moment to say, look at us. I mean, we're almost a quarter of the way done with the vault. There's been a lot of sweat and tears. We are just absolutely proud of all of you out there. So just because we shout out a couple individuals, all of you guys are doing an amazing job. But now let's get into this. Our first shout out is gonna go out to our amazing member, Gabby Bradley. A year ago, you asked a question, which is what do people use to get motivated with oneself, or how do you get pushed to get into the vaults? Well, the question we have for you is, have you found that? Are you pushing yourself? And we are here to cheer you on. So well done, keep it up. Our second shout out is gonna go out to our new member, Kevin. I mean, with that skin showing, it was bound to get our attention. So way to rock those tiger thigh huggers. Man, way to go, well done. And way to crush the vault workouts. Our third shout out is gonna go out to our member and her awesome kids, Jan. Way to get after it with your kiddos, and let your kids know that Knox and Banner will be making more appearances in this year's Street Parking Vault Kids. So stay tuned. For your kiddos, you guys are crushing it. We are proud of you. Keep working out with your mama. And our affiliate shout out for the week is gonna go out to Oceanside CrossFit. Man, that group looked like it was just crushing it. What a vibe. It looks so cool having all your members participating in this year's vault. Keep it up.
The Street Parking Vault is a one workout per week for 25 weeks series with the goal to help street parking members build consistency.
You can do any version of the workout.
Customize these movements and choose a version that fits your ability.
Each week, log your workout before the time is up.
Your scores and weights don't matter.
You just can't miss.
I really feel it's my time, think it's my...
Workout is 20-minute AMRAP, as many rounds and reps as you can do in 20 minutes of 5 toes to bar or 8 alternating V-ups, 10 alternating dumbbell snatch, and 15 air squats. Your score for today's workout is gonna be how many total rounds plus any additional reps, and your goal is 12 to 18 rounds. Your shift workout for this week is an 8-minute AMRAP. As many rounds and reps as you can do in 8 minutes of 8 sit-ups, 8 kettlebell swings overhead, and 12 air squats. You'll rest 1 minute and repeat that 8-minute AMRAP again. Your score for the workout is how many rounds and any extra reps per AMRAP. And the goal is to get between 3 and 5 rounds each AMRAP.
Welcome to week 8 of the Street Parking Vault Kids. This week, we are tackling Salazar, which is a 4-minute AMRAP of 5 toes to bar, followed by 1 bear crawl, 6 alternating dumbbell power snatch, 1 crab walk, and 7 jumping air squats. You will rest 1 minute and then complete the AMRAP again. Your goal for this workout is to focus on having straight legs as much as possible during those toes to bar. We're in a cozy corner. If I was a couple inches taller, this wouldn't work. I'd be kicking her.
The extra challenge for this workout is actually 60 for guys and 40 for ladies. I don't have a 60-pound dumbbell, so Julian's gonna use a 65 and I'm gonna use a 45. So we're extra challenge plus in it.
Hey, we're doing alternating dumbbell snatches. Let's go ahead and talk about 2 head touch, 1 head touch.
I think it depends on how tall you are. I'm a 2-head touch because I find that to be more comfortable for me, but I also understand why people would 1-head touch.
So we're gonna add like this little graphic to be Time for our educational course. Hello students. What is CrossFit standard and what is taking care of your lower back standard? If you are a competitor in the scene of the CrossFitters, yes, please continue to practice how you play, which is going to be a 2-head touch. Boom. For some of you guys, like, what's CrossFit? Don't worry about it. I'm just a street parker. No big deal. If you have lower back issues, you just tilt the head of the dumbbell down, tap the ground there, and get it overhead. No big deal. Your back thanks you. Happy camper. Here's a 1 head. Right. Boop. 2 head. Boop. So when you guys are doing a 2-head touch, look at the difference here. Now, going to 1-head touch makes it so you are at the height of grabbing a barbell. But fear not. Competitive fitnessers, we will let you guys know. If there's a standard for competitions, trust me, we will steer you in the right way. If there are certain things that we know were only used for standards for a competition, we'll also let you know. So that way you can have fun with your fitness and not feel bound by the change of standards that are used for judging. And that, my friends, is fitness freedom. Thank you for coming to my class.
Hi guys, welcome to week 8 of the 2024 vault. Today, Juli and I are gonna be getting after Salazar. And Julian and I are going to be getting after Salazar. That was weird. We are both going to be doing extra challenge, a little bit more actually. Julian has a 65 and I have a 45, so we'll see how this goes.
All right, everybody, it is week 8 of the 2024 Street Parking Vault, and we have got Salazar. 20 minutes, 20-minute AMRAP of a classic little triplet, little rep scheme here of 5, 10, 15. We've got 5 toes to bar, 10 alternating dumbbell snatch, and 15 of my all-time favorite movement, the air squat. All right, so 20 minutes of 5, 10, 15. There are other versions of this, and make sure that you pay attention to the rep scheme on the version that you choose, because program B is 20-minute AMRAP of 5 toes to bar, 7 barbell power snatch, and 15 air squats. We've also got a Glory Days version for some of you guys that want to prove that you've still got it. 20-minute AMRAP of 2 to 3, shooter's choice on that one, 2 to 3 bar or ring muscle ups, 10 alternating dumbbell power snatch. You could also do the 7 barbell power snatch if you want to, and then 15 air squats. So you can kind of make that one your own. There are 3 versions, and the reps change if you choose to go with the barbell. So just keep that in mind. Now these guys are going with heavy dumbbells, which is the extra challenge. So extra challenge dumbbell weight is anything over 60 pounds for men and anything over 40 pounds for women. So they're both doing that. We've got a goal range for this workout of 12 to 18. So at no point do we want these rounds taking you more than 2 minutes, which should be plenty of time, even if you're not great at toes to bar and you're gonna have to break those up. It does give you room to try a heavier than normal dumbbell, which is why even for the suggested weight, the weight that you normally see associated with extra challenge is part of the range of the suggested weight for this one. So because we've got a minimum of 12 rounds, feel free to do toes to bar, even if you know you're gonna have to break them up, and feel free to use a heavier than normal dumbbell for this one if you know that you can still keep rounds just under 2 minutes for this. Now up to 18 rounds, which is almost an EMOM. which is, it's aggressive and you're gonna have to keep a pace. That's gonna be for those of you that are able to do toes to bar unbroken every single time and are able to keep a pretty steady pace with both the dumbbell snatch and the air squats. None of these reps, these movements have a rep that takes very long, so holding the almost EMOM rep pace is doable for people that have a good fitness level and can do these sets unbroken pretty much. I believe these guys are already on their third round, or maybe even fourth round. So they are holding the EMOM so far with the heavier dumbbell and the toes to bar and all of it. Now, of course, if you're not a toe to bar person, maybe you don't have a pull-up bar, it's not a movement that you're comfortable with, you prefer not to do it for whatever reason, you could also do this workout as 8 alternating V-ups. And honestly, you don't need to be married to even that movement. You could go with a weighted sit-up, you could go with a regular V-up. You could hang from the bar if you've got one and maybe you can't get your toes all the way up there, and you could do a knee raise. So we're just looking for that hip flexion ab movement here. So choose something that's challenging for you, but you're not really, necessarily doing like singles. Again, keeping the rounds under 2 minutes each time. Now what you'll notice on Julian's toes to bar here is he doesn't use much of a kip swing, where Chelsea's really using that opening and closing of the shoulder to give her a little bit of a stretch reflex to help her with that movement. Neither of them are right or wrong. I mean, Chelsea is using more of her musculature in her body, where Julian's making it more of an isolated ab movement almost. His version is faster, but is going to be more taxing on the core and the midline than Chelsea's is. So no right or wrong there, just notice when you're watching them that they both do it a little bit differently. Where you can catch your breath in this workout is on the air squat. So plant your feet, find a pace, and just don't break them up. So that doesn't mean that they need to be done super fast, but just keep the feet planted for all 15 reps. I like their setup, how close they're staying to the pull-up bar, that allows them to get right next into that next set of toes to bar. This, by the way, is in Chelsea's garage. So it's not really a garage, it is their garage, but it's separate from their house. It's a really cool setup that they've got over there. We get little glimpses of Mason here and there. They're pretty much still holding very close to almost like an EMOM. I believe this is round 6 for both of them. There is a shift version of this workout. It's 2 8-minute AMRAPs. That's as many rounds and reps as possible in 8 minutes, and you're going to do this 2 times with a 1-minute rest between AMRAPs. Each of those AMRAPs will be 8 sit-up, 8 kettlebell overhead swings, okay, and 12 air squats, 8, 8, 12, 2 8-minute AMRAPs. So even if you're doing shift, we're still looking at 16 minutes of work. So it's, the shifters are in it this week as well for making sure that we train a longer time domain. We're giving you the little 1-minute rest in there to grab your water, reset your mind. But the goal for the shift is to do at least 3 to 5 rounds each time, which is super doable for you guys. I think many of you will get, 6 or 7 rounds easily of the 8, 8, and 12. If you're watching this live, comment in the comment section what version of this workout you're thinking about doing. Are you gonna do the barbell? Are you gonna do the dumbbell? Are any of you guys gonna go for the Glory Days bar or ring muscle up option? I honestly might do that version. I don't often do bar or ring muscle ups. I never do ring muscle ups. But I might have to go for the bar muscle up on this one. It's fun to throw it in every once in a while. Just a almost 42-year-old lady, trying to still Uncle Rico myself. So you can see Julian with his setup, he is able to jump just right back onto the bar. This is round 8, so they're a little bit over the EMOM status at this point, which is good because we don't want you guys necessarily doing more than 18 rounds. It's great that both of them chose a heavier dumbbell. And can we just give a little shout out to Chelsea, who has a very young baby still, just crushing the toes to bar. On these dumbbell snatches, don't get sloppy. Chelsea has great technique on this. She's bending her knees, she's pushing her butt back. Drive through the heels. She's jumping off the ground to use a leg drive so that she doesn't have to rely on such a hard press out. Get that weight elevated, get some momentum on the weight by driving with your legs, squeezing your butt, jumping off the ground, and then catching your breath, of course, again on the air squats. Now, you guys know that in street parking, we're not a no rep community. So for those of you guys that come from CrossFit and no reps, and you got to make sure you go low enough and stand all the way up and all of that. Now, I will say that we're not a no rep community, but we are a community that encourages you to move well. And it's not for judging standards. It's not so that we can make sure that you're doing the movement in order to beat other people. But the full range of motion of the movement, especially when we're talking about something like an air squat, getting your butt below your knees at the bottom, standing all the way up to where your knees and your hips are extended at the top. The reason or reasons that we are still really gonna push for you guys to try to hit those ranges of motion, again, is not to beat anyone else or for any sort of competition standard. It's because when your butt gets below your knees in a squat, air squat or otherwise, you are able to more fully use your glutes and your hamstrings at the bottom. It also is the full range of motion of both that hip joint and the knee joint, which will develop the musculature on both sides of the knee, the front and the back, which creates for a stronger, more stable, more resilient knee joint. And we're trying to train your body the way that it was put together and designed to be used. So we are going to encourage you guys, get all the way down, set up a target if you need to, a medicine ball or something like that. Even if it means that you get a lower score, train your body to be healthy, to function the way that it's supposed to function, hit that full range of motion, and then for the dumbbell snatch, get your bicep, just like Chelsea is right here, get your bicep by your ear at the top, fully locked out. I see a lot of people who kind of like have the dumbbell out to the side or their elbow isn't fully locked. Stand fully, keep the belly tight, and get that dumbbell over your shoulder with the bicep by the ear, completely locked out elbow. Again, we're training the lockout, we're training the range of motion of your shoulder. And all of this stuff, we're not a no rep community where we're gonna, just tell you on your Instagram video that it doesn't count or anything like that. If you're in the Wolfpack group, they might do that to you, which is fine because everybody in there knows that's the case. But really the reason for moving well is because it's what prevents injury. I can't tell how many rounds that is for Chelsea. It prevents injury. It strengthens your musculature on every side of the joint. And we just want to move properly for that reason. Again, really good technique by Chelsea. She's keeping the chest up, back flat on every single rep of these snatches. And I haven't seen them break the snatches yet. And you can see that both of them are just kind of catching their breath on these squats. Got this like R&B music going here too, which I would have been upset about personally. I want to hear what you guys listen to when you work out in general, or maybe you have a vault playlist. What do you have on your playlist? What do you have on your speakers when you're doing the workouts, especially on something like a 20-minute AMRAP? And anyone that says nothing, that they do it in silence, will be immediately reported to the authorities as a dangerous criminal of some sort. So again, you can see Chelsea using that kip swing. Still seeing both of them go unbroken on the toes to bar, which is something that I don't know that I could do at this point. I guess we'll find out. I believe this is round 13 for both of them, and the only reason I know that is because this was filmed before I talked over it, and I'm pretty sure I know the score that both of them get. So I'm guessing that they are no longer holding an EMOM, but still pretty close, and I believe this is round 13 for both of them. Now, if you're somebody who listened to my little rant about the air squat and you're like, I have a hard time getting that low, like it's like my body won't go that low unless I like kind of collapse. A couple things that you can look at is make sure your feet are wide enough that you have enough space to get down there. Focus on driving your knees out, which also allows your hip to open up a little bit more. Try to keep your chest up when you're doing that, but it's okay if the chest comes forward a little bit as you get below parallel, especially in like an air squat. If you were weighted, I would, give a little bit of a different coaching tip, but on the air squats, something that you can focus on in your warm-ups and stuff like that is going to be like ankles and hip flexors. If some of that stuff's tight, it can prevent it. But really play around with your foot position. Make sure you're driving your knees out. You can see Julian's hurting pretty bad at this point. They've got just over 5 minutes left. Taking a little breather before the air squats, but again, still doing unbroken sets from what I can see of both the toes to bar and the snatches. They've got 4.5 minutes left, probably looking at like 3 more rounds with the pace that they're going. You can see Julian's dumbbell snatches. He is able to use more of like an upper body press. He's got a really strong press out, a really strong shoulders, where Chelsea is using more of that jump again. Neither of them are right or wrong. Most of us are gonna do better to use more of a leg drive. But if some of you out there, and I'm assume, more men than women, that have a really strong press, you can do it more the way that Julian was doing too. You can see he's just like staying in it at this point. Something that you guys can do if you don't want to do this alone. I don't like to do workouts that are this long by myself. Put this up on a screen, whether it's on your phone or bring your computer out or a tablet, or if you've got a TV in your garage like Chris and Chelsea do. Put Julian and Chelsea up on the screen. Do it with them. And this is the point where they've got like 3.5 minutes left in a 20-minute AMRAP where you're so close yet so far away, right? Stay in it. This is the point of the workout where you're really gonna grow mentally, physically as well, but mentally if you can stay in it and push all the way to the end with just over 3 minutes left. There's so much to be gained from it. Julian with a little head shake. Kind of using his arms to throw himself down. Still love seeing him go all the way down, standing all the way up and not getting sloppy at the top. Who knows what's going on with his arms and his head, but still hitting that good range of motion. Chelsea, same thing. I know they're both gonna wanna do 1 or 2 more rounds. And I'm guessing we'll see them really turn on the boosters here for these last 2 minutes. Julian using a little bit more of a kip swing on those toes to bar now, this late in the workout. Still beautiful toes to bar. Chelsea's toes to bar from beginning to end look exactly the same. And we've got 1 minute and 45 seconds left. Should be enough time for sure for Julian to finish this round and do one more, potentially Chelsea one more full round after this one as well. But this is the moment where you've got to decide. I got to make a decision here for if I'm going to push to get another full round. I believe this them. A joke that a lot of us make that used to compete that are now on the street parking coaching staff is one thing that you have when you've put yourself through what we all put ourselves through in order to compete is just the mental side of training, where even though most of us are not, well, none of us are as fit as we were when we were actively competing, there's still an ability to turn that part of our brain on. And you can see Julian's doing it right now for sure. It's a key component to train. It's when you push a little bit harder than maybe is necessary just to hit the goal range or something like that, but really find out what you're made of and really do what you're capable of doing in each workout. And if you aren't doing that at least sometimes, you should. So if this is the workout for you to test that, something that's 20 minutes, it's a great opportunity for you. I believe Julian finished 18 rounds and Chelsea was just shy of it, but I'll let them tell their scores. Have fun with this one, you guys. Salazar.
All right, guys. This one's long. So start smooth, something that you can sustain. You will fall off probably a little bit, so to be expected, but be intentional about keeping your transitions quick. If dumbbell snatches are something that you can crush, I would highly encourage you to just go a little bit heavier, even if that's using, 20, 25, 30 pounds, whatever it is. Challenge yourself to go a little bit heavier so long that you can stay within the goal range each round. And then as soon as you're done with your snatches, try to get right to work on the squats. It's hard to do, but just get to work on them. Get through the squats. You can use it as a recovery going into your next round, but try not to lean into that too much so you still want to push your pace there. Yeah, that's it. Have fun.